Over the past 3 decades, I've had the privilege to work with just about every money personality there is, from those who absolutely love their spreadsheets to those who can't stand budgets. Today, I'm going to share with you a simple strategy that will help you save more money even if you hate budgets. So if you've tried budgeting in the past and it's just not worked for you, or perhaps you simply just know that you're never going to be able to track every expense, then this video is for you. Now, if after watching this video, you would like some help setting up a money management system that would work for you and help you consistently save more money, then can I encourage you to check out the link in the description below to my Money Boss Academy, where we will help you take control of your money and your financial future. Okay, so let's get stuck into it. Let's have a look at the no budget approach to consistently saving more money every single month. Here's the agenda. We're going to look at using bank accounts to harness your cash flow and not budgets. We're going to look at getting clarity. What are all your expenses? Yes, sorry, we still need to know what your expenses are. Then we're going to have a look at finding a surplus. And I'm going to share with you a very simple strategy that's going to help you identify surplus cash flow. Then we're going to have a look at, well, how do we know when we've got enough money in each of our bank accounts so that we can identify surplus very clearly? And importantly, we're going to set up a bank account structure that allows you to be super intentional with the way that you manage your money so that there's no lazy money lying around. Every bank account has a purpose and every dollar within those bank accounts has a job. And then we're going to go through and have a very quick summary recap of everything I've taken you through. So you can see on the screen here, I've got a flowchart of bank accounts. We've got all income coming into a central account. This is your main working account. This is the account where you hold all the money for your known upcoming expenses. Now we're going to talk through that in a bit more detail. Then we've got an everyday account where we isolate our everyday spending. So this is the more discretionary consumable spending where we're basically saying, put some money in that account on the first day of each month. That's all you've got for the month. And if it runs out, bad luck, baked beans and mashed potatoes for the rest of the month. And simply by having that physical boundary of saying, this is all I've got, you'd be amazed at how much money that will save you. Then what we want to do is we want to have a rainy day fund. The rainy day fund is there to cover the unexpected. The dog getting sick, the car breaking down, the hot water system springing a leak. There's any number of things that we could add to that list, but these are for the big unexpected expenses that come our way. And from there, once we've got these three accounts humming along, then surplus cash flow can start to flow down to other accounts in our cascade. Now, those of you that know me will know that I always think of people's finances like a cascade. We've got more income coming in than expenses going out. Well, that's the goal, which means we have some surplus cash flow. That surplus cash flow then becomes the water that flows through our cascade. So let's have a look at how we use each of these accounts. Now, the first thing that we need to do is get clarity on what all of your expenses are. Yes, I know we're not setting up a budget, but I'm sorry you need to know this because we need to work out, well, how much do we need to have in each of your bank accounts? A big part of this process is getting super intentional with what your accounts are for and how much money we need sitting in those accounts. We don't want any lazy money lying around, so we want to define how much do I need to have set aside for my known expenses? How much do I need to have set aside for my unknown expenses? How much do I have surplus? So we want to be able to identify what our expenses are and then convert them to a monthly figure. So we have a look at the next page here. You can see what we've got. Now on the left here, these are the budget worksheets. And if you would like a copy of those budget worksheets, you can grab a link in the description below. Now, it's not forcing you to do a budget. This is just going to help you to identify, well, what actually are my expenses? And it's a comprehensive listing. See on the right-hand side here, the numbers from here feed through to here. This is like a summary page. And so you can see groceries, $300 a week. It converts it to a monthly figure of $1,300. And then that $1,300 comes through to this summary page. So I would encourage you to do this. Now, I'm not asking you to track your expenses. All we're trying to do is get a really good handle on what actually are all of your expenses. If you look at the example on the left-hand side here, we've got Brooke and Joe combined, they earn $13,000. This is what they allocate to all their expenses on a monthly basis, but their expenses there are $14,419, which means that and their income's only $13,000, which means they've got a deficit. So obviously, we've got to find, in their case, they've got to find some savings capacity somewhere. So having this initial brush of being able to say, here's my income on a monthly basis, here's what all my expenses are on a monthly basis, will help you identify, do I have a surplus or do I have a deficit? Now, most people come to this scenario with a bit of a deficit initially. What I then encourage them to do, as you can see on the right-hand side here, is to go through all of your expenses, each of your expenses, and identify, is this a vital expense? Now, vital is things like, well, it keeps the roof over my head, it keeps clothes on my back, and it keeps me fed. They're basically our vital expenses. Then we've got necessary expenses, which are things that are important, like if we've got a car, the car running costs or transport costs to work and so on. So we've got a list then of the healthcare costs, etc., of our necessary expenses. And so go through, and then we've got lifestyle. So lifestyle are things that really, sometimes we make a mistake of thinking they're necessary, but they're not really. So I want you to go through honestly and identify, is it vital, is it necessary, or lifestyle? Because what will then happen is, once you go through on the spreadsheet, it will then show you what proportion of your expenses are vital, what proportion are necessary, and what proportion are lifestyle. And when it comes to trying to find some surplus cash flow, it needs to actually come out of typically it comes out of our lifestyle spending. Then what we want to do is, let's just say we've been through this process, we've identified what all our expenses are on a monthly basis. Now, this isn't a comprehensive list. This spreadsheet here is much better, but just as an example, the one that fits on the screen, we've got here everyday spending. So things like groceries, petrol, parking, entertainment, bought coffees, bought lunches, so on, $2,000 a month. Utilities, $870, rent, $1,950, communications, $180, etc., etc., etc. These all add up to $8,000 per month. So let's just say we have income of $10,000 coming in. We then go, well, I need $8,000 of that in my central working account. So we've got the whole $10,000 coming in. $8,000 is our expenses, which should mean that we've got about $2,000 per month surplus, in theory. What we then do is we want to take $2,000 of that, so $6,000 is for monthly expenses, but $2,000 of that is everyday spending. So we take $2,000, we isolate that into a separate ATM account. An account's just got like an ATM card attached to it. And we say to ourselves, I think I said this earlier, this is our everyday spending. This is all we've got for that month. We need to make it last. Now, of course, it needs to be a realistic figure, so you're not running out of money halfway through the month, but that is going to help you go, okay, I'm isolating that money. That's all I've got, and I really need to try and stick to that. If I run out of money, as I said, it's baked beans and mashed potatoes for the rest of the month. But that is the boundary on that spending. And then all your other money for all your other upcoming expenses, so the utilities, the rent, the communications, car, kids, etc., all of that stays in that account. Now, that won't all be spent in 1 month. Some of it will accumulate for all year. Some of it will be spent that month. But the goal here is that this is enough money. We know it's enough money to cover all our upcoming expenses. And we should have $2,000 per month left over as surplus. So I'm hoping this makes sense. $10,000 comes in, $6,000 is kept in our central account for upcoming expenses. $2,000 is hived off from the first day of each month to our everyday spending account for our everyday expenses, and $2,000 per month is potential surplus. So I'm hoping you're with me so far. Now, the next thing that we need to factor in is, well, okay, we've got $2,000 surplus. So we might be going, woohoo, let's start putting it into our savings account. Let's use that to build up a rainy day fund. Let's use it to pay off debt. Let's use it for all sorts of things. But the problem is when we first start budgeting, we might not actually have enough money yet in our central working account. So what we need to do is use that extra $2,000. We need to leave it in the central account to build up so that we do have enough money in that central account. Now, the big question, of course, is, well, if we don't have a budget, how do we know how much we need in our central working account? And the best way to work this out is to go, okay, well, my average monthly expenditure is $8,000. So we figured that out before, is $8,000. But that's an average, which means that some months are higher and some months are lower. So what we can do is we can say, okay, well, how about we go 1.5 times my average monthly expenses is what I need in my central account. So let's say it's $12,000 that I need in that central account. Now, if you have a lot of variation in your expenses each month, you might want to say, well, it's 2 times my average monthly expenses, in which case it would be $16,000. But my experience is for most people, having a 1.5 times your average monthly expense in that central account is enough. And that is your goal to have on the last day of the month. So on the last day of each month, when all of our incomes come in for the month, all our expenses have gone out for the month, we want to have $12,000 sitting in that account. So 1.5 times that figure is what you want to have in your central account. Now, you're probably going to say, well, Phil, I don't have $12,000 sitting in my central account right now. That's okay. Most people don't when they get started. So what we want to do, instead of taking that $2,000 per month surplus out and putting it into our reserves account initially, we actually want to use that to start building up our central account. So if you think about it, it's like water in the cascade. Now that we're pouring more in than we're taking out because we've cut back our expenses a bit, we've got that extra $2,000, then what's going to happen is that account's gradually going to fill up. So if we have a look at this example here, let's say I've got $10,000 coming in and I've only got $5,000 in my central working account. I need 12, I've only got 5. And my expenses each month, we know that my expenses each month are $8,000. So it means $10,000 comes in, $8,000 goes out, which $2,000 extra should stay in this account. So month 1, this is what it looks like. Month 2, it should build up by $7,000 because 10's come in, 8's gone out, there's an extra 2. Month 3, it's gone up to 9. Month 4, it's gone up to 11. And then in month 5, we're now at $13,000. We go, woohoo! I now have more than $12,000 in my account, which means that $1,000 can now be taken out of this account and moved down to my rainy day fund. So now we're starting to build up our rainy day fund. And this is the third account, and this is an important account because this is the account where you prepare for your unexpected expenses. This is things like the dog getting sick, the car breaking down, I need root canal therapy. Last year, our hot water system died. There's any number of things that you could need your rainy day fund for. So what you want to do is each month take any surplus money and use it to build up your rainy day fund. So let's just say we've got $1,000 extra, comes down to our rainy day fund. Now, what I want to highlight here is that we are being very intentional. We don't want to leave any lazy money sitting in this account. We know that we need 12. We don't need anything over and above that. So every dollar has a purpose. It's taken away and put into our rainy day fund on the last day of the month. Now, what happens is, let's say the following month, this is month 6, we have 10,000 come in. We've taken out, remember, we took out 1, so we left the balance at 12. But because we've got 10,000 come in, we've got 8 going out. That means we're now at 14. Brilliant. We've got $2,000 extra, which means that now we can take that $2,000 and our rainy day fund has gone from $1,000 up to $3,000. Income comes into our central account. We know exactly what we need in there. Anything over gets taken down, put into a rainy day. And once our rainy day fund's full, then we can start to pay off debts. Then we can start to add money to our investment account. Then we can start adding money to our life goal account. But what I want to show you is, well, what happens if we have a month where we overspend? So let's say we have a month where we overspend. We had 10,000 come in. We started with a balance of 12,000, but 11,000 went out this month, which means we went backwards by $1,000, and now we don't have enough money in this account. So what we can do in this scenario is we can pull money back from our rainy day fund to top up our central account back to $12,000. That would be our goal, and this is why we build up our rainy day fund. So when we do have a bad month and a big expense does come out, we can top up our central account from our rainy day account. And then the next month, though, is a good month. We stick to our budget again. We only have $8,000 go out. So we had 10 come in, we had 8 go out to our expenses, and we end up with a $2,000 surplus again. That $2,000 can then be taken down and used to top up our rainy day fund. We want our rainy day fund to be equivalent to 1 month's worth of our our expenses, which is $8,000. So we want to build this up to $8,000. So once that gets to $8,000, then we can go, well, fantastic. Any surplus from here flows into our rainy day fund, but our rainy day fund is full, so it can then go down to paying off debts. So let's say we had $2,000 a month surplus. We know that it's going to take us about 3.5 months or 4 months to get the debts paid off. And assuming we don't overspend up here, of course, or have some big unexpected expense, it's going to take us 4 months to pay off our debts, and then the money can start to go down towards investments and life goals. So I'm hoping that that is making sense. This is a strategy that I use with all my clients. We sit down just the same as I would with one of my budgeting clients. We look at how much have you got in your operating account? How much should you have in your operating account? Have we got more or less? We take the extra out if we've got it and move that down to the rainy day fund. If they've got less, we top up from the rainy day fund. But ultimately, the important thing to note here is that budget or no budget, we can only move forward financially if we're consistently spending less than we earn. That is super important. We need to know that we're consistently spending less than we earn so that each of our accounts can be filled up and then overflow and then fill up the next account. Now, there will be the odd month where we overspend. That is totally okay. But that's when we pull money from reserves, top it back up. That needs to happen before we can then start addressing the pools further down the cascade. Now, I hope that this has been helpful, that it's made sense. If it has, please click the like button because that helps my channel and my content reach more families. And please subscribe because every week I release more practical, no fluff money strategy videos to help you and your family thrive financially. So please click like, please subscribe. Now let's get on with the summary. So firstly, we looked at the simple strategy of using bank accounts to harness your cash flow, getting a very purposeful bank account structure set up. Then what we had a look at was getting clarity on what all of your expenses are so we could identify exactly how much money you need sitting in each of your accounts. What is full in each of those accounts so that we can take any surplus away and move it to the next pool in your cascade. We want to create a cash flow surplus. This is really important. So identify all of your expenses as a monthly figure so we can compare apples to apples, monthly income to monthly expenses so we can see, do I have a surplus or do I have a deficit? If we have a deficit, and that's where most people start, we then want to go through and identify all of our expenses as either vital, necessary, or lifestyle so that we can then identify the best place to start cutting back our expenses so that we know that we have a surplus every single month. Then what we did is, firstly, we need to use that surplus to fill up your operating account. So identifying what you need in the operating account, typically 1.5 times your average monthly expenses is what we need in that operating account, but we don't want anything over and above that. So it might take a couple of months for you to fill up your operating account so that it has enough money to cover all of your known expenses so that when they turn up, the money is just sitting there ready to go. Then we looked at isolating your everyday spending money. So on the first of each month, we transferred our everyday spending allocation into an everyday account with an ATM card attached to it so that we can say to ourselves, this is my everyday spending. This is all I've got. I need to make it last. And if I run out, bad luck, it's baked beans and mashed potatoes for the rest of the month. But that is putting a boundary around that spending. That strategy alone will save you hundreds of dollars every single month. Now, of course, we need a realistic number there, but that is, once we've got that realistic number, we need to stick to it. And then we looked at the importance of filling your lower pools. Once we can say, I need $12,000, for instance, sitting in my operating account. If I've got more money, I should take that out and move that down to my rainy day fund. Once my rainy day fund is full, and typically full is 1 month's times your average monthly expenses. Once that is full, any money can then go to paying off debt, or it can go down to my investment goals, or it can go down to my lifestyle goals. But no lazy money. Every dollar has a purpose. If you can stick to that plan, then it all becomes very, very easy without needing to have a budget. Now, I genuinely hope that this has been helpful and that it's given you some confidence that there is a way to consistently save more money without having to track your expenses every month in a budget. If you would like some help though, if you're looking at this going, yes, this would be great, and yes, I would love to be filling in some of those pull downstream, but it would be great just to get some help, someone to look over my shoulder and let me know, am I doing this right? Then can I encourage you to check out the link in the description below to my Money Boss Academy, where we will help you become the money boss of your life and take control of your financial future. So check out the link in the description below. And please remember, it is the little habits and strategies that you put in place today that could make $1 million difference to your future. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.